Okay, so that is the general rule, and now we just need to apply it. So, let's see, we're going to use the product rule to state the derivative of the following and simplify. So, for this example, for part B, what I'd like you to do is use both methods. First of all, use the product rule, and then also expand it first, then take the derivative, just to kind of prove that the product rule works. So we'll do the product rule for this one. So h prime of x, so the derivative of the first times the second, plus the first times the derivative of the second, and then we just simplify here. So 40 times 5, 200, x times x cubed, and then 20 times 15, and then x squared times x squared, and then now we just combine like terms, so we get 500 x to the power 4, which, as you might remember, was our first example back here, and we got 500x to the power 4. Okay, so now let's take a look at expanding this out first. So please pause the video, expand this out, then take the derivative, and then down below, please take the derivative using the product rule. Okay, so when I expand this out, I get 15 plus 12x minus 10x cubed minus 8x to the power 4. And then I'll just swing everything around to put it in descending powers of the variable. And now I'll just take the derivative of that. Okay, so that's the derivative of the product of these two functions. Now I'll do the product rule. So g prime of x is the derivative of the first times the second plus the first times the derivative of the second. And now we just simplify. So we get negative 30x squared minus 24x cubed plus 12 minus 8x cubed. And we simplify that all down. So we get negative 32x cubed by collecting like terms minus 30x squared plus 12. And we notice that the derivative of the products is the same as the product of the derivatives. Now things can get a little hairy here. We don't have a lot of space, so you may have to use some other paper to expand all this stuff out. But what I'd like you to do is pause the video now, please, and use the product rule to take the derivative of part C, function h of x, and also do the same thing for part D for e of x. Just remember that e of x is the same as 4x to the power 4 minus 8x squared times 4x to the power 4 minus 8x squared. Okay, go ahead and take the derivatives of both of those, and come back and check your work in a second. I think I'm going to have to write very small here. So the derivative of the first times the second plus the first times the derivative of the second and now we have to expand everything out and simplify this down. So we'll just do the expansion of the first term, the expansion of the second, and add them all together. And now I'm just going to write them vertically according to their powers. So that was 12x squared times negative x squared gives me negative 12x to the power 4. 12x squared times negative 5x gives me negative 60x cubed. And then 12x squared times 3 gives me 36x squared. Now I start with the negative 4x term. So I'm going to get positive 4x cubed. 4x times negative 5x gives me positive 20x squared. And then negative 4x times 3 gives me negative 12x. Then move down to the next row and multiply the 8 times everything in here, and line gives me negative 8x squared. And then 8 times negative 5 gives me negative 40x, and then plus 24. Then I'll do the same thing with this next expansion. So plus, I'll get negative 8x to the power 4 plus 4x cubed minus 16x squared, and then minus 20x cubed plus 10x squared minus 40x. And then we'll just group all the like terms together. So negative 12x to the power 4 minus 8x to the power 4 gives me negative 20x to the power 4. Negative 60x cubed plus 4x cubed minus 20x cubed gives me negative 72x cubed. And then all the x squared terms, I'll just add those all together. So we get plus 42x squared. Add all the x terms together, negative 92x, and then plus 24. And moving along, I hope you had a chance to work out this derivative also. If not, I'll give you a chance right now. And so we get, oh, I guess, yeah, so let's just do this. So we've got 16x cubed minus 16x times 4x to the power 4 minus 8x squared plus, and it's the same thing, 16x cubed minus 16x times 4x to the power 4 minus 8x squared. And we see that there's two of those, so that would be 2 times all this, 16x cubed minus 16x times 4x to the power 4 minus 8x squared. And then we just expand all this stuff out. So 16 times 4, I believe, would be 64x to the power 7 minus 16 times 8 is negative 128x to the power 5. Then we got negative 16x times 4x to the power 4, so we get negative 64x to the power 5. And then negative 128x cubed. And then we multiply all this stuff together, and we end up getting e prime of x, and actually I should have added this in here, e prime of x, and that's 128x to the power 7 minus 384, or x to the power 5, plus 256x cubed. Okay, so that is about it for the product rule. So for your fun for today, pages 93 to 96, this whole batch right here. Please start the first few at home, just after you finish this video, and then come to school. I was going to say come to work. Come to school and finish off the rest of them in class. So thank you very much for your attention, and we'll see you in class.